On February 1st, 2012, Anchorage, Alaska was cloaked in bitter winter darkness when 18-year-old Samantha Koenig seemingly disappeared without a trace. That evening, she was working the closing shift at the Common Grounds coffee kiosk. Surveillance footage showed her chatting with a customer, then suddenly being forced at gunpoint to comply with his demands. Within minutes, she was gone, dragged into the cold night by a masked figure. The abduction shocked Anchorage, a city known more for its wilderness and tight-knit community than random acts of violence. News spread quickly, and her disappearance soon made national headlines. For a city already accustomed to harsh winters, this was a new kind of cold, an invisible threat hiding in the dark. Samantha Koenig was born on August 30th, 1993 in Anchorage. Bright, outgoing, and known for her sharp humour, she carried a warmth that drew people in. She shared a close, inseparable bond with her father, James Koenig Jr., who often described her as his greatest source of pride. Samantha's passions range from animals and photography to music and the outdoors. She worked as a barista at Common Grounds, where she built rapport with strangers daily. Despite her youth, she harboured ambitious dreams, either to become a veterinarian or to serve her country in the Navy. Friends remembered her as the type of person who lit up a room, the kind who left lasting impressions on everyone she met. Her energy, laughter, and determination made her disappearance all the more unthinkable. At around 8:30 p.m, a man in a ski mask and dark clothing approached Samantha's kiosk. After ordering coffee, he pulled a handgun, ordered her to turn off the lights, and climbed inside. He zip-tied her wrists and marched her toward a waiting truck with its plates removed. Samantha pleaded, warning him that her father would soon arrive to pick her up, but the gun at her side silenced all hope of escape. He drove her away into the night, assuring her it was just a ransom, but the reality was far more sinister. That night, she was taken to a shed behind his home and held captive. Hours later, despite her pleas, she was strangled to death, her life cut short before the search for her even began. What started as a terrifying abduction would unravel into one of the most disturbing cases Alaska had ever seen.
Wild rock. Are you planning on going back for that?
Despite her death, Samantha's family didn't yet know the truth. Nearly 3 weeks later, on February 24th, her boyfriend received a message from her phone directing him to a park. There, police discovered a ransom note accompanied by a chilling photo of Samantha. She appeared alive, propped against a wall, holding a local newspaper to prove the date. But the photo was a lie. Her killer had applied makeup, stitched her eyelids open, and posed her corpse. Believing she was alive, her devastated parents scraped together $5,000 of the $30,000 demanded. Detectives, meanwhile, wrestled with whether they were chasing a kidnapper still holding Samantha, or a manipulator covering something worse. The hope in that photo would prove to be one of the cruelest illusions in the history of ransom cases. As money trickled into Samantha's account, her debit card began to ping from ATMs across the country. First in Anchorage, then Arizona, New Mexico, and finally Texas. Each withdrawal showed a disguised man wearing hats and sunglasses. Detectives quickly zeroed in on a crucial detail. The same white Ford Focus appeared in the background of several surveillance images. By tracing the rental records, investigators linked the vehicle to Isreal Keys, a contractor and father living in Anchorage. As the FBI followed his trail across multiple states, they realized this was not a ransom-driven kidnapper. This was a man carefully covering his tracks, moving across thousands of miles. What was at first a case about a missing teenager was turning into a hunt for a predator who seemed to know exactly how to evade capture. On March 13, 2012, a Texas state trooper pulled over the Ford Focus near the small town of Shepherd. Behind the wheel was Isreal Keys. Inside his car was Samantha's debit card, her phone, disguises, and cash. Outwardly, Keyes seemed unremarkable, a hard-working contractor, a father, and a quiet neighbour. But interrogation revealed something horrifying.
That was the ammo in there. Perfect right thumbprint.
Yeah, right.
No, there is. I don't have the lab report yet.
Wow. Uh-oh.
More CSI stuff.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Well, I'm disappointed in myself mostly, but I'm excited.
The lab examiner called me. I don't have the report yet. When I get the report, I'll show you the report. But I'm not doing it. It was on one of these two on the plastic trays.
Huh.
Like these must be plastic, like at the bottom too, like
Yeah.
the top of it.
Okay.
Slides into that cardboard sleeve.
Well, it was kind of
Samantha's abduction and murder were not an isolated act. Keyes calmly admitted that she was only one of many victims. In fact, by his own estimate, Samantha was victim number 11. His ordinary life was a mask, hiding a decade-long trail of violence. The revelation was as shocking to the public as it was to law enforcement. Anchorage hadn't just lost a daughter, it had unknowingly harboured a serial killer. During extensive questioning, Keyes outlined his crime with chilling precision. He described abducting Samantha, killing her within hours and storing her body in his shed while he left on a family cruise. Upon returning, he applied makeup to her corpse, staged the ransom photo, and disposed of her remains in Alaska's Matanuska Lake. Acting on his directions, FBI divers cut through thick spring ice to descend into the frigid waters. Hours later, they recovered Samantha's dismembered body, weighted to the lake bed. The grim discovery confirmed Keyes' confession and provided her family with the closure they dreaded but desperately needed. Detectives, however, now faced an even more disturbing question. If Samantha was number 11, who were the others, and would they ever be identified? Samantha Koenig's story is one of promise cut short, a vibrant young woman whose compassion and ambition were extinguished by a man who thrived on control and cruelty. Her family received closure, but not justice. Isreal Keyes never stood trial. While in custody, he confessed to multiple murders across the United States, hinting at victims police have yet to fully identify. In December 2012, before facing a courtroom, he committed suicide in his jail cell. His death left unanswered questions about the true scope of his crimes. To this day, Samantha's case is remembered not just for its tragedy, but as the thread that unraveled the secret life of one of America's most methodical killers. What should have been the beginning of Samantha's adult life instead became the moment that exposed a predator hiding in plain sight.